everyone. Hope you are all doing as well as possible. I am airing this as a behind the scenes vlog in my Duggar downfall series, but it really does apply to all of my videos that deal with heavier topics. A question I'm getting asked a lot is, why do you keep doing this, meaning covering cults and extremism, if it's not making you happy? And I'm putting making you happy in air quotes. I do think that question is being asked in good faith, but it really does show that people who haven't lived through this kind of thing don't always understand all the complexities. My answer to this question is multifaceted, so I'll start with the simplest bullet point. I do this because shit needs to be exposed, and Fundy survivors are the best people for the job. We know the Fundy cultiverse inside and out. We can get inside the minds of the victims and perpetrators in a way that non-survivors can't. Think of a cult as a super intricate building that's on fire. We know the layout of the building, if you will, and we know what types of rescue efforts can be effective and what won't work. My other simple-ish bullet point is that sometimes I'm simply not physically or medically able to do much else. I've been stuck at home a lot recently due to raging histamine reactions. Even when my pain isn't too bad, I am currently stuck at home a lot because I am trapped in an itchy skin suit that sometimes doesn't tolerate anything other than pajamas and lounge pants. This morning I put on jeans for the first time in at least 2 weeks. And you can only binge so much TV before you get bored out of your skull and want to effing do something. My office is tailored to meet my physical and mental health needs. And thanks to my tablet stand, I can even work on script writing in bed when I have to. The time passes a lot faster when I can do things. The other piece of this is that speaking up has been much better for my mental health than keeping everything inside. I have dealt with so much shit that I have had to keep inside for years. And if I had been able to express even just a little bit of this sooner, my mental health might have improved when I was much younger. And maybe then I wouldn't have had so many stress-induced and young onset medical issues. I can't go back and change all of that, obviously, but I can choose to let things out going forward in hopes of trying to keep my mental health from regressing. As for the subject of happiness, that's a bit more complicated and, goes beyond the scope of just video topics. Merriam-Webster's dictionary gives us two definitions of the word. The first is the state of well-being and contentment, and it gives the synonym of joy, and the second definition is a pleasurable or satisfying experience. This is where my autism comes into play, and I can talk about this in more autism-related videos. But when I was a kid, I was pretty in touch with myself, and I knew what kinds of things made me happy. Off the top of my head, I loved knitting, writing, reading, painting, art, and my pets, etc. But as I got older, parents and educators began to write off some of my hobbies as not normal or developmentally inappropriate. either the hobby itself or the amount of time I spent on it was demonized. People would ask me point blank how those things could make me happy. One of the things that makes me happy now is watching Bob's Burgers, and no one really thinks anything negative about adults enjoying animated shows. But that's now. If that show had been around when I was a teenager, I would have been seeing it as being childish. And I don't think any of this was intentional, but intent cannot always erase damaging impact. And it's also worth noting that happiness is also extremely complicated for cult survivors who don't have autism. Lots of cults demonize happiness. So after you get out and you're trying to have a normal life, it feels a bit like uncharted waters, as it were. And I am struggling with the double whammy of being a cult survivor and being neurodivergent. I absolutely want to be happier, but sometimes I genuinely don't know what would make me happy. And honestly, right now, it's hard to talk about it and put words to it because, as I said, it is just so complicated. All of that to say, I keep doing this because it gives me a sense of purpose. The happiness piece, I'm still trying to figure out. But running my YouTube channel and producing the Duggar Downfall series in particular gives me a sense of purpose, which I've never had before. Okay, this wound up being a lot longer than I planned, but saying all of that out loud was extremely cathartic. So I am going to leave it and air it as is, and I will be back soon. As always, thanks for watching, and let's finally destroy the patriarchy. All right, take care. Bye. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and hit the thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Like you Bye.